Now, in today's video, I'm going to show you specific value tests that almost every single guy fails, and this is why they can't get laid. Okay, this is why their dating life is completely shit, and this is why they really suck at actually turning a woman on. So here's what you got to understand. Okay, most guys live in a scarcity mindset, which means when they talk to a girl, when they get a girl's number, when they're seeing a girl, they will consistently demonstrate specific things to the woman that lowers their value. Now, here's what you got to understand. The 4 specific value tests that majority of men fail, this is psychological. The reason why I'm telling you that this is psychological is because you can have every single like self-improvement criteria in the world, and what that means is, like, think about it. You can be worth 500 million bucks. You can drive around on a fucking private jet. You can be 6'8", jacked with six-pack abs, but if you demonstrate the wrong attraction triggers to a woman, what's going to happen is she's going to consistently lose respect. That's why what I drafted out for you on the whiteboard today is extremely important. Now, I'm going to be going really deep today, and some of these might sting, but you got to put your big boy pants on and grab your fucking balls, because these are things that you have to understand. So after this video is done, be sure to check out the MBT webinar below. Okay, MBT is masculine behavioral techniques. It's my exact process that I've helped transform over 3,000 men's lives, like over the past 3-4 years with it. Check that out afterwards. It's completely free to register and attend. Let's dive in. Now, behind me on this whiteboard are 4 value tests that men fail, and you have to really internalize these because, like I said, these are psychological. You start making these mistakes and you don't get the type of behavior from the women that you've wanted, which means she's like the women who were attracted to you in the beginning. They're not going to want you. They're not going to sleep with you. They're going to think you're weird. They're going to friend zone you. You don't want any of that to happen. So the very first value test that a woman will always sniff for, is you not standing up to her. Now, this is going to come out even on first dates. This is going to come out on first and second dates, and as soon as she's slightly comfortable with you, and when I say comfortable, what I mean by that is she knows you just a little bit now to where she's willing to start to test. And keep in mind, she's not doing this on purpose. These are subconscious displays to test your values so she can make the decision, yes, this guy is worth me being with, potentially sleeping with, or no, this guy isn't. So not standing up to her is the very first test you got to watch out for. And what you're going to notice, she might pull back on a date. She might start to shift her demeanor and mannerisms. You might see things like bratty behavior, her being randomly disagreeable, or overall challenging you or overtly trying to challenge you on a specific subject or topic, or maybe you made a sentence or you said a statement. The girl's going to start to disagree with it for absolutely no reason. You got to be aware of this. When you see this, here's what you got to understand. She wants to see that you can put her in her place. Some of you might not like how that sounds. I don't really give a fuck because it's true. I've never had, there needs to be, in order for you to build actual chemistry with a chick to where it's going to go somewhere, where she views you more as just a platonic friend, there has to be some sort of sexual tension or abrasion. That abrasion and that nuance creates that sexual tension, so she wants to say yes and come into your frame. So she wants to see that you can put her in her place. Here's how you do this. You can appear cocky and you can just add sarcasm to it. You can ignore her comment or disregard it. There's even sometimes men who you could even a lot of times straight up say that sounds dumb or that's stupid. That would be better than you just going with her or agreeing with her to appease her. Or the third thing that you can do to pass that is you remove the attention. What I'm trying to get across to you is low value men appease. So what's going to happen is if the way you pass these tests overall is when she demonstrates bratty behavior or is disagreeable or is overtly trying to challenge you. The key to understand with this is you don't appease that behavior. Low value men will go with it because they don't want to piss her off. They think that they did something. A high value man who's in an abundance mindset doesn't give a fuck. So he disregards it. This is the important one. Now, a man who's not able to stand up to her is going to start to fail these tests on the first and second date, and it's not going to go somewhere. However, let's go deeper. Let's say you've seen a girl for 2 dates plus. The second test that you're going to oftentimes run into is the availability test. The availability test is extremely important due to the fact that high value men are not easily accessible. Women deep down on a biological level want a challenge, and women value you, when they have to work for your approval. This is why it's extremely important, being someone of some sort of status in your domain that you're an expert at. This could be if you are, when I say when I say like high value men are not easily accessible, women are going after guys that have something going for themselves. Now, do you have to be like a famous celebrity, or do you have to have $1 billion and be on a boat? No, absolutely not. But what you do have to do is you have to be good at something. Like a woman needs a reason why she would choose you over a different guy. This is why it's important to completely crush whatever segment that you're in. Okay, what I mean by this is this even goes like on a small level. If you're locally and you have it like locally on a local level, let's say you're a real estate agent. Okay, and you're a normal guy, but you, like, if you crush it and you demonstrate that you're the best real estate agent in that town of maybe 70,000 people, that right there's an element of status. Okay, the key that you got to understand is whatever domain you pick and domain you go into, you have to make sure that you are abiding by that purpose and sticking with it, because high value men are not easily accessible. If a woman sees you're constantly available to be with her 24/7, okay, what will happen is if you're trying to hit up a girl every single day in order to be with her, or you're trying to hope that like her presence is going to occupy your time, like she's going to just completely start to disregard you. So what will happen is that a man who's of high value starts to realize this number one crucial thing. Okay, you need a life outside of dating at all times. Okay, that can involve going to the gym, that can involve working on a side hustle, that can be you putting together a group of other guys who do things, that can be you mountain biking. I don't care if you want to go hiking in Colorado. Whatever it is, you need to start to have a life outside of dating. Now, if you have a life outside of dating, eventually you'll have girls that come into the pipeline. Okay, here's what you have to understand. Women are extremely unpredictable. Women will always come and go. Okay, and it's not your fault. This is how they're wired. Like, I want you to look around at all of your friends that you've had in the past, family members. How often do you see majority of the relationships succeed all the way until the end, till death do us part? Virtually none of them. So when you understand the mindset women come and go, you don't really take any of them too seriously. Okay? The reason for this is because you start to see that in order to maximize your dating life, you need an element of patience. So when you're wheeling a girl, okay, when you're pursuing, wheeling, whatever you're saying, when you're like you're setting your life set up in a way where she would want to view you as an attractive man, what you have to understand is that patience is a virtue. So when wheeling a woman, I would say this is typically at minimum like a 3-month process or more. And the reason why it has to be a 3-month process or more is because a woman has to kind of build the right sort of tension to want to come back to keep seeing you. And see, if this is overdone or if this is overblown, what's going to happen is that she sees that you're urgent. Urgency is the number one lever that kills attraction. So what guys will oftentimes do is when guys are talking to a woman, or when guys are like setting their life up where it's like, okay, I'm high value now, or I've made a certain amount of money, or I have other things going for myself. As soon as a girl comes into the pipeline, what will happen is they'll try to start to squeeze her in, and they're going to try to see her every day. Okay, women don't want that to happen. Now, the reason why this one is so important is because you have to occupy your time with purpose. A mistake that guys will make with their availability is they will think if they don't make themselves available, she will go talk to someone else or she'll see someone else. This couldn't be further from the truth, and here's why. What you got to understand is women are hypergamous. So women want to optimize for the best, highest quality or highest level mate that they can get. So if you are unavailable and a different guy is available, okay, if she has any sort of attachment to you, whether that be emotionally or sexually, there's a very high probability that she will wait for you eventually when you're available, and she'll put that other guy on the back burner. Women want the best bang for their buck. Okay, they don't optimize for quantity, okay, as much as men do. Women will oftentimes optimize for quality. So this is important, okay? Availability, you want to make your calendar booked. You want to make your schedule booked. This is key. Now, the third test, here's what will really happen long term. This one is a bitch for most guys, because if most guys find a girl that they really like, the third value test that they all end up failing is the emotional attachment test. Now, I'm going to walk through this straightforward, and then I'm going to share with you a couple ways that you can get over this quickly. So what you got to understand is in no way, shape, or form can you ever go weak for a woman, okay? Here's what I mean by this. Loving a woman is always greater than being in love with a woman. You can love a woman, you can love qualities about her, you can love things like, you know, things that she does, things that she's into, things the way that she makes you feel. You can love her, but the second that you're in love with her, where you're attached emotionally and you cannot let go, this is the kiss of death. Okay, this is why a stoic man, or this is a man who understands masculinity principles, he understands that women will come and go. To this day, there's girls who will pop back into my life after a year of not talking. There's girls who will pop back into my life after 3 years of not talking. There's girls who will pop back into my life after 4 years of not talking. Women come and go. There are ebbs and flows. This is why, as a man, when you're purpose driven, you don't take women seriously, and dating is a lower priority to you, because you understand that you can actually achieve greatness by like having purpose and drive in your life in the right areas. So loving a woman is always greater than being in love with a woman. If you're in love with a woman, this means that you probably can't walk away. If she sees you can't walk away, this is when the bullshit and this is when the disrespect starts to happen. So what a woman looks for long-term with a man is she's always going to be looking for mental toughness. Mental toughness equals alpha to a woman. Mental toughness is going to show in your ability to persevere in your work or in your occupation. This is going to show the ability to not become emotionally attached to any specific circumstance. Okay, and this is why, truthfully, your God-given purpose is always going to needing to be number one. If you're a man on this earth, okay, you believe that you have mission, you believe that you have God-given purpose, that needs to be your number one priority at all times, because that is the only thing you can have emotional attachment to, because that right there is the only thing that will last until you're in the grave. This goes so deep. Mental toughness equals alpha to woman. You can be 6'8" with six-pack abs, okay, and weigh 250 pounds with 25-inch biceps. So I'm going to tell you this, if she sees you're emotionally weak, okay, or you're whipped, this is not going to end well for you. This is the kiss of death that will make it so a woman will never enter back into your life ever. The reason why mental toughness is so important is because a woman needs to see that you're principled. Principled in who you are and how you act. When I say principled, what that means is no matter what anybody else says, you're your own man. Which means what you believe to be true, you stick with it. And you stick with it because of this. Your word means something. If your word means something, that means that you say what you're going to do, you do what you're going to say, okay? And if she tests that, or if she tests that boundary, she's going to see that there's repercussions for it, because you will never display weakness to her ever. This is extremely important. Just if you could take one point away from this, it's this, okay? Loving a woman is always greater than being in love with a woman. You can love a woman without being in love with her. The second you allow yourself to be in love with her, where you need that other person for any sort of validation, okay, you have to understand that there's a bigger void deep down that you have as a man when it comes to your purpose and your ambition and what you live for than that specific interaction or that specific relationship. And the fourth, this is the biggest. This is the biggest for people who are on dates. This is big. Like if you are going on a lot of first dates and you can't close, like I'm gonna tell you this, like some of you guys think this is cocky or whatever, but I don't really give, like I don't care, because you gotta understand this. I don't think in the past 3 years, maybe 3 to 5 years, there has been a single first date that I've went on to where I wanted to continue to see the girl and have it go somewhere that I haven't been able to get that done. And the reason being is because I understand the fact of overcommunication, how that kills the seduction for most men. So what you gotta understand is talking a lot to women, okay, when you're talking to them consecutively, this is anti-seductive. Okay, this is why when you're on your dates, you have to maintain some sort of like quietness or aloofness. You have to be stoic to some degree, because a stoic man can win over a woman's heart very quickly. The reason being is because women love to talk. Especially women love to talk about themselves when you ask them questions to get them to open up. So if you sit back, you're fucking Joe Cool, okay? You're outcome independent from the situation. You don't necessarily care how it goes. You're like, okay, I'm just sitting back. I'm a cool guy. I can take it or leave it. You start to let her do the talking. Now, keep in mind, this is specifically for first couple dates. Eventually, the more you get to know a woman, you're going to have to start to talk a little bit more. You're going to come off weird and robotic. Okay, but for in the beginning, you got to understand over communication is a value test, and here's why it qualifies to her. The saying that I like to abide by is women talk and men do. If the saying that I live by is women talk and men do, that means you need to demonstrate value. You don't talk about your value. So what I'm getting at is over communication equals fishing for approval. When you're over communicating, what you're really saying to a woman is, please talk to me because I really like you. And I don't know if you really like me, so I need to keep talking to you to hopefully fill that void. Guys, a woman either likes you or she doesn't. And girls will always come and go. So what you have to understand is by you over communicating, all you're doing is shooting yourself in the foot, especially on your first couple dates. Okay, use the phone as a gap filler to set the date. Once you set the date, okay, sit back And what you want to do is you want to even qualify her to see if you even like her beyond just physicalities and beauty. If she has hobbies, if she has interests, if she has outlooks on life that you enjoy, cool, continue to see her. But you're only going to know this if you shut your fucking mouth. And most guys talk far too much. These are the 4 value tests that what you're going to see on a day-to-day basis. If you internalize these and you actually ace these, your dating life gets a hell of a lot easier. Okay, and the cool thing is that you can actually start to have some sort of element of control. See, this is a thing I don't think a lot of like society or the world really wants men to know or men to see. Is like the society, whether that be Hollywood or music or fucking like books and fairy tales, they want to leave men's dating lives up to fate. Like, oh, if you bump into the right chick at the right time, it either happens or it doesn't, and you meet your forever loved one. That's not how real life works. In order to have an element of control over your dating life, it takes knowing what to do versus what not to do. And that's why these are the 4 value tests you want to pass. And if you pass them, you're going to be able to get really whatever you want in this life. If you like this video, you can hit the like button, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.